Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing? This is Lia Abney, business consultant with Lia Abney LLC, coming to you for the Keep It Moving Monday morning motivation. How are you guys doing? I know I was out. I come to you every Monday morning, except if it's a holiday, I'm probably going to take a break. So although this past Monday, it wasn't a holiday, is Masters Week here in the Augusta area. So I'm sure people were enjoying themselves, had a lot of activities that were happening over the weekend and on last week. I enjoyed myself with Pop-Up Augusta, had their first event. If you are here in the local area, please follow them on Facebook and subscribe to their newsletter so that you can get notified of all of their upcoming events. So, what is Pop Up Augusta? Pop Up Augusta is headed by Kig. Um, Kigwana Cherry, and he is a local artist, entertainer. And what he does is he does these not little events because they're very extravagant, in my opinion. He does these events where you are notified, um, where people just come together. They're able to network, discuss certain, just have discussions about what's happening in the city, the local area, how to get involved, and over a meal. So we had a great 5-course meal, and that was done by Darren West. So you can follow him on Facebook as well. So, gentlemen, all of the volunteers, you guys did a great job. Also, Andre Lacey, who is um, a golf expert. He is a golf expert. He was out there as well. He does give lessons. So again, he is also on Facebook. So please follow him and check him out. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give him a call this week to check on some lessons. So he does give golf lessons. So congratulations on that event. There are a lot of things being done across the CSRA. And so I'm going to put on my chamber hat for a moment. So for those of you that don't know, along with being a business consultant and an author and speaker, I also am a board member with the Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce, and we are having a lot of initiatives that are being pushed out to the community to ensure that businesses in our area and across the CSRA get access to resources and has opportunity for contracts and grants and funding to be able to expand and grow your businesses. So if you desire to become a member, please go to www.mygabc.org. Again, that link is provided in the description, and become a member. We do have a monthly membership option for you that's may fit better within your budget. So just check out the different tiers that are available. And also, if you are if you like Leah, well, what happened if I'm not a entrepreneur and I don't own a business? Well, we got you too. We got you too. So if you are just a professional in the industry, and you want to become, no matter what level you're at, when I say professional, that means from the person that is at the lower level to the top, okay? Because we're all professionals in our own rights. If you desire to become a member, guess what? We got an option for you. You can do the monthly option, or you can do the first tier, which is for those professionals as well. So please check us out. Again, that's on www.mygabc.org. We got a lot of events that are happening up. So subscribe to the newsletter with the Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce, and check us out on Facebook. Yes, we are on Facebook. We are on social media, Instagram, Twitter as well. But also go to our YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button for the Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce. And guess what? We have a plethora of videos that are out there right now. If you are having questions about the PPP program or any other resources, they are out there. We also have our Empower You sessions with Fifth Third Bank, one of our collaborators and partners. We thank Fifth Third Bank for all of their connections and the collaborations we've done with them to ensure that our community are managing their finances. So we got that coming up, matter of fact, every month on the fourth Tuesday, the Empower You sessions. So tune into that as well. Those go live on Facebook, and then also later they're posted on YouTube as well. So again, thank you guys. How was y'all weekend? Y'all know how I do. How was y'all weekend? How was y'all weekend? My weekend was pretty good. Let's see. I did a lot of work. I was on the computer, and of course, I start classes today. So I'll be back on the grind, working on my classes. So I'm excited about that. Taking accounting, you guys. So we're gonna see how that goes. That's gonna be very interesting, taking accounting. But I hope that y'all weekend was blessed and highly favored. But guess what? I hope that you guys stay tuned with me this morning, because you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be right back. Black G, Black G. Hey, how are you guys? Good morning. Good morning. My name is Lia Abney, business consultant for Lia Abney LLC, and offering services for small businesses in the area of leadership development and strategic marketing. If you want to learn more about what I have to offer at Lia Abney LLC, please visit my website at www.liaabneyllc.biz. You have the opportunity to browse through my website. I also have a lot of books that I've authored or co-authored, and some other tips that are available for you as well. So please visit my website at Lia Abney LLC. And also, please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Lia Abney LLC, where you'll be able to watch all the other episodes of the Keep It Moving Monday Morning Motivation Show. So thank you so much for following me. Good morning to you. And so we're going to get right into our topic for today. And this weekend, it was nice. I enjoyed myself. Last week was kind of full. I stayed away from Washington Road. We know there was Masters Week out there. Those of you that were out there, I hope that you had a really good time. Supported a couple of local businesses along the way. But one of the things that I find as an entrepreneur and also working in corporate America, sometimes we have some challenges, you guys, like serious challenges. And I know I do, because I am not perfect. It's like, as much as I would like to say that I know how to behave myself in public, there are some times on my job that become very challenging because of different personalities, some of the demands that are required of you. And so I'm hoping that this topic today will help you to know how to give more grace. And sometimes, in our actions and in our decisions, and whether it's in our home, whether it's in our community, we have to give grace in every situation to get us through what we need to get through. And not only that, so that we don't block opportunities for collaboration and for networking, okay? Because you know how people like to talk, okay? You do one thing and it's like, it becomes your whole story of who you are, when that's really not who you are. And what prompted this topic, and again, it is how to show grace, okay? How to show grace. What caused me to meditate on this is a sermon that I heard on yesterday, as I was driving. On Sundays, I don't do typical, I just like that alone time, because I'm always fellowshipping and meeting with people throughout the week. So I like my alone time on Sundays, where I'd either go driving or I go to a lake, or, so I was driving to Columbia, South Carolina, and I was listening to a message, and this prompted, how to show grace, and the message was really on, you know, um, those times where things are happening in your life and you get a little angry, or do you have that, Mary Martha moment where you're angry and you're asking questions of why this is happening or is it taking God so long to do some things? And I said, well, God doing sometimes when people are coming against you or something, happens on your job that just rubs you the wrong way, how then do we show grace in those situations, even when you feel you are right, or perhaps you just are right? So, how do you show grace to other people? And I said, this becomes very important because we are always dealing with people at every level, at different levels throughout our lives, throughout our careers, throughout our journey here on this earth. So, how then do we show grace? And so, I want to talk to you about that, about what was downloaded to me, because sometimes I don't get this right. Sometimes I'm like, no, just wait a minute. And I would just go off in my emotions and my feelings and say what I need to say, and then I keep it moving. But I'm like, Leah, you know what? You can't do that all the time. You got to get it together. So this was a learning process for me, and it continues to be a learning process. And I hope that you get something out of this topic. So, how to show grace. So, of course, I always try to back it up with scripture. So in Colossians 4:6, it says, let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that you may, or ye may, know how ye ought to answer every man. Every man. And that, to me, that's like in every situation, in every circumstance. How then do we answer and respond to certain situations when we're faced with, where our emotions, or where we're angry or we're upset, or you're just not feeling it? Okay, you're just not feeling it. And one of the things I look at this particular scripture, it says, let your speech be always with grace and seasoned with salt. The seasoned with salt, that's the part that really got me. And I'm like, okay, I said, I use salt on my food to give it so it tastes good in every situation. Because sometimes, you go to a restaurant or somebody else cooks the food, it doesn't always come to your liking, right? So you add a little bit of season to it to your liking, where it is pleasing to your palate, where it's pleasing to your palate. And we also know that if you add too much, I hope you guys are hearing me. When you add too much, guess what? It's no longer pleasing. It's too much salt. You can't even receive it. You can't receive it. You can't take it. Yeah, you can't even receive it. So I started realizing, you know what? The way I talk, the way the language and the words that come out of my mouth, as I have to be very mindful of this. And so I'm like, wow. So sometimes I may put too much emphasis. I may put too much emotion in it. And believe me, emotions and emphasis are very good if you are putting it in the right context and are at the right moment and the right point. And it makes a point. It becomes effective. But if you put too much of it, well, I'm talking about the scripture where it says seasoning, season with salt, and you put too much salt to it, guess what? It will cause people to turn away from you. It will cause people to turn away from you. So I want to share 5 ways on how to show grace. 5 ways on how to show grace. Okay, on how to show grace. Just making a correction because I realized in my typing this up. 5 ways on how to show grace. There we go. It's a grammatical error, making that correct. So 5 ways on how to show grace. So the first thing that I really alluded to was monitoring your words, because kindness does go a long way. How much salt are you putting in your words? So, and when you are addressing a situation, now I also saw this post. This is very interesting. I was on LinkedIn, and they were saying whether or not four-letter words, okay, those four-letter words, whether or not they're appropriate in a professional setting, or are they inappropriate? And so there were a lot of opinions, that's never warranted, depending on the industry you're in, because like if you are a mechanic, you're probably going to hear that word. If you are in the military, unfortunately, you're probably going to hear that word. And when you're working with young people, trying to get them trained, trying to get them focused, you're probably going to hear that word. Okay. And so, are there times where it becomes appropriate? And so, again, monitoring your words, and then this actually came up as a point. Well, it's important that you just monitor your words, because kindness does go a long way. So, again, one of the ways on how to show grace is to monitor your words. What words are you saying that could be offensive? What words are you saying that could make you come off in a negative way rather than a positive way, and that goes against your moral values? So that's one thing that is very important in our process of showing grace and giving grace to other people, is that we monitor our words. And that's, I'm not going to go too much into that, but just monitor your words. And I know it seems very simple, but in the moment when we're on our job and we're just, in certain environments, especially if they are high energy, if they are high paced environments, that, guess what? You'll just be saying things because you got to keep it moving, because it's like, look, we don't got time. We got to keep this thing moving. But in the day of this world with diversity, and that's one of the courses I'm taking in my doctorate program is diversity, is that and inclusion. We now have to be more mindful of what we're saying and how we're saying it, because this world is becoming, I'm not saying it's more sensitive, but there is a heightened awareness of what we're saying and how that is being construed by others. Okay, whether it's cultural, whether it is spiritual, or whether it is based on the dynamics of the group of people that are in their beliefs and values. Okay, of the group of people that you're working with. So this becomes very important. And everything I'm talking about is really to help you be a good leader. And these are things that we should be mindful of on the job. So the second one is maximize it, maximize opportunities for action. Okay. So in other words, your words should match some type of action. And this is an example of it is by volunteering to help somebody. I know one of the things that I find that's very difficult is when you're working on a project, you're expected to do some things, and they're saying, here, just do this, but they give you no resources, they don't give you no guidance, they don't give you anything, and it heightens a level of frustration. And so with that, with the volunteering pieces, as a leader, volunteer to help, give some resources, give some ideas, help them problem solve through the process. And then also give it a thank you note, thanking people. And I'll be honest with you, it's hard to receive a thank you from somebody that's always on the other end of being negative. That is a hard thing, but for myself, I had to realize, and accept. I said, okay, that's where these thank yous are, all these excessive thank yous are coming from, and how to receive them. And I know it seems like I'm off topic, but this is showing grace. And I was like, okay, God, when I was going through this process, I was like, okay, God, this thank you, so that's why the thank you is showing grace. But then again, me being on the receptive side of the thank you, I then have to monitor and watch my actions as well and be receptive of the thank you. And or another way is, just, and we've gotten so way away from this with technology, with texting, messaging, that we no longer pick up the phone and just call folks. We're using social media as a means for communication. Pick up the phone, call somebody, so and that's how you show grace. And in that, one of the things, which is our step three, is we have to learn how to let things go. Okay. Some people are just plain rude for whatever reason, whether it's in their makeup, something they went through, or they're just not happy, or whatever it is. There are times that people are just rude, and instead of responding in kind, choose to respond with grace. And so, you know, one of the things I remember. You always hear older, my grandparents are always saying, kill them with kindness. I know you heard that saying. You can track more with honey than with lemons, and things, and things like that. You hear all these different sayings, and they happen to be very true. They happen to be very true. And so sometimes things are going to happen. Some people are going to be very rude. They're not going to be mindful of your feelings. And so, but holding on to that hurt, that those emotions, what happens is it causes you to be just like the person that treated you, where you're then responding rudely as well, in every situation. So be willing to let some things go. There are some things that we can let go. And you're like, well, Leah, what happens if this happens? It's like every day it seems like they're attacking me. That I would approach them. And this is with conflict management. Maybe that's what I need to do on the next topic, conflict management. Um, on conflict manage, when it comes to conflict, one of the things that we're always taught is go ahead and address them. And then, of course, if it gets that bad on your job, go to HR. Go to HR to receive some guidance from them. If they are doing this as in document, and document. I can't begin to tell you to document, but make sure that your attitude and your reactions and your responses are not questionable. Okay, because then it'll be a he said, she said thing, and it'll be much more difficult for guys. Hold on, um, battery. I was working on this last night. So, so you don't want it to be a he said, she say type thing where there's no fix for it. So document is one thing that becomes very important. And so I'll go more into that when I talk about conflict management, because I will talk about that on my next episode on next Monday. So number three, take an interest in others. This is a really good one because there are some times where you are so engulfed in what is happening, the other person's emotions, your own emotions. And one way to show grace is by taking an interest in others. So getting involved, helping somebody else that maybe need help. One of the things I try to do every day is like, in what way can I help somebody else today? How, in what way can I be a blessing to somebody else today? And so by taking my focus off of myself and onto somebody else, that helps me to practice the act of grace. To practice the act of grace. And if you're one of those that does this every day, because this is not something we do every day, a lot of times we're waking up in the morning because it's just things we got to do. Okay, there's just things we gotta do. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. I gotta go here. I gotta go there. But not so much that we take the time, that we take a break, and we're like, what can I do for somebody else to make their life a little bit more easier? Especially if it's something that I'm demanding of them. So one way is by taking an interest in others, their ideas, especially as a leader on your job, a supervisor, take an interest in something that they're doing. A lot more organizations are doing this today, where they actually are giving back to things, and it is actually a program, the part of the philanthropy programs. And absolutely, so if you're looking for a job and that's something that's very important to you as far as giving back to others, look for a company that actually has in their philosophy that they actually give back to their employees, and through things that they have an interest in their community. So that's one way of doing it. I know I kind of got off track on that one, but that you can take an interest in others. That's another way of giving grace. Lastly, and this is the hardest one, forgive. Learn to forgive, but also ask for forgiveness. If you've done something that has where you have not given grace, ask for forgiveness. Say, you know what, I didn't really give you grace on that. I was really harsh on you, and trying to complete this. And, a lot of times when we're asking for grace, we give an excuse of why we did what we did. Just ask for the forgiveness. That would go a very long way instead of giving an excuse or an explanation. Now, let me change it, an explanation of why you responded the way you did. Because a lot of times what we do, you make it more about you than it is about the forgiveness that you're asking for from the individual. And then be willing to forgive if you're on the receiving end of that ask for forgiveness. Be willing to really, really forgive and not hold on to it. Remember, we talked about in number 3 to let it go, right? Being able to let it go. So those are my 5 tips for how to show grace. Let me go over them real quick one more time. So the first one is to monitor your words, because kindness does goes a long way. Number 2 is to maximize opportunities for action through volunteering or a thank you note or even just a simple phone call. That's another way to be able to engage and give grace. Make sure you're listening too. And the third way is to let go. There are some people who are going to be just right out rude. Okay, just straight out rude. And instead of responding in kind, choose to respond with grace. And you can do that by, you don't have to agree with them or anything like that. You can just either listen and shake your head or not shake your head. And keep it moving. That's what you can do. Just keep it moving. Or you can take an interest in others. Again, this is a really good one. By taking interest in others, by listening to what their ideas are and their solutions, and then be able to work together and figure out whether or not this will work. And then also being able to help them. And lastly is to ask for forgiveness, but also be forgiving if you are on the other end of ask or for the ask for forgiveness. Okay. So I hope that you got something out of this week. And lastly, before I end, I have this quick quote for you. The actions of a graceful leader are not determined by the circumstances they face, but by the investments they have made in themselves and in growth. That is by Duke Matlock, the executive coach. So I hope that you got something out of this session on today for the Keep It Moving Monday Morning Motivation Show. And I hope that you join me on next Monday, because I will be back with another topic. And again, I think I'm going to focus on conflict management. For those, again, my name is Lia Abney, business consultant of Lia Abney LLC. Please visit my website for more information and opportunities to collaborate or to work with me. If you are looking to achieve your goals, please schedule a session with me. And again, you can follow me on YouTube by subscribing to my YouTube channel. I'm also on social media and also on Instagram. So please go and follow me on those as well. So I hope that you have a great day. And I hope to see you on next Monday. Be blessed.